Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chris and welcome to keycrafted.com. I received this fun gift from YouTube. Thank you. And let's get on with the project. For today's project, it's Befold wallet, classic look. It has coin pocket. It can fit about 4 cards, probably in a hidden compartment behind pocket for the coins. You can fit a couple more, and standard money compartment. It's a fun project. So if you want to make something perfect gift for Christmas, join me and let's make it together. Fun. As usual, we're gonna start from cutting out the leather. I've got piece which is behind the coin pocket. This piece has quite a lot of detail, so I'm marking everything with the scratch O. We need to attach pocket for the coins and a flap, and we need to attach that to the inside of the wallet. There is a couple techniques you can use to cut out shapes like this. One technique is just place the pattern on the leather and use the knife to trace it, but this sometimes can be tricky. So I'm gonna show you another technique. I got low-tack masking tape, which I usually use for laser cutter when I don't want too much tar on the leather. I cut it out and place it on top of the piece I want to be cut out from the leather. You probably will be able to use also normal painted masking tape, but I've got this tape, so I'm using this one. What it does, when you stick it on the leather, you can guide your knife on the edge of a paper and it makes cutting leather easier. I don't use full strength at first time. I firstly cut it, just mark it with the knife so there is a groove, and then do last final cut when I take everything off. And the results are pretty good. You can better see it on this close-up. When you have pattern glued on the leather, it's better to mark everything before making cuts. What we're gonna do with these pieces of leather, we're gonna deep dye it. So what I'm gonna use, I'm gonna take a tray, put a dye in it, and then dip the pieces of leather inside. I'm gonna do only one layer and see how it's come out. To avoid the mess in your workshop, I use these Ziploc bags to keep all my trays and reuse them. I use oil dyes, so they're quite strong. That's why. Cover everything in paper and use the gloves. It's hard to wash off. That should be enough. If you want to skip dyeing process, go to the next chapter. Deep dyeing I usually do with water-based dyes. I first time try with oil dye and it makes quite a lot of mess, but the effect is quite good. I think I'm gonna stick with it. But I will need to find out better technique of dip dyeing it. After I dip it, I leave it for about 3 days. And then after 3 days, I apply finish on top of it and sometimes a little bit of a neat-foot oil. The finish I use for oil dyes is leather sheen from Fibbings. And the leather I use for this project is veg tan leather with 1.2 thickness on the inside, and the outer leather is slightly thicker, it's a 1.8. After I finish the top, I use Tokonol with my marker pen, and I apply it onto the flesh side, then burnish it with a edge slicker. I must admit, wallets are not my favorite thing to do. They got a lot of details and on the really small surface. The button for this wallet is available on my website. Below this video you can see direct link to the website where you can purchase it. So we got surface of the leather ready to start stitching up. What I do, I crease the edges on top of all the pockets before I assemble the wallet, because that will be really hard to do when the wallet is assembled. I use this marker pen to apply Tokonol on top of the pockets and burnish it before the assembly. Before I start punching the holes, I like to put everything together and see how it looks. When using prongs to punch the holes into the leather, I like to hook the first one, so the second one will show you where is the first hole, like that. And then we can start punching out. Try to do it from both sides. Sometimes you need to adjust a leather a little bit. All the stitching lines are in a pattern, but what I like to do is put one part onto another and then go through to have a look where exactly you've got the holes. Because sometimes if you move it 1 millimeter each way, it might be off center, and I don't like that. I'm punching the holes for the sides as well. What I do on the back panel, I add extra hole on top because I like the thread to overloop on that pocket, because there is loads of stress going on that pocket on top, so I like to reinforce it with double stitch on top. Before we're gonna attach the bottom part, I need to punch the hole for the snap rivet and measure the right amount of a thread, which is 4 times the stitching line. I think I lost some footage where I was stitching it, but there will be more stitches coming up so you can see how I stitch all the parts. But it's important to keep in mind that first you need to attach the bottom and flip it over, then attach the sides. But before we're gonna do that, we need to set the snap rivet and shape the pocket a little as well. I used oil dye on this one, and it does give you a little bit of a pull-up effect, which is quite nice. For this project I used locking pins. They're quite good tool and very inexpensive one, and they position the pieces together before you stitch them. They're very good for small projects and the large ones as well. I would normally use stitching pony, but this part is quite small and it's quite hard to catch it in the stitching pony, so I'm stitching without it. I stitched the other side off camera because I don't want to bore you too much, and this video is quite long already anyway. Have a look on top of the pocket where the thread overlaps. I make it stronger so it holds for ages. Now we're gonna attach the flap. As you can see, wallets are quite small project, but they're not. It's quite a lot of work. And I think to complete this project it took me about 4 hours. It's nearly same time as a small handbag. On the back piece, add one hole on each side because we're gonna do the same thing as with the main pocket. We're gonna attach it with overlapping thread on each side. We got it ready for stitching, but what I like to do, I like to attach snap rivet before I'm gonna stitch it. It's easier to position the pieces together. And I'm using the pins again. I used 2 on this part, but I think it was a bit an overkill. On this project I used diamond stitching prongs. The only problem with these diamond stitching prongs, they make hole not big enough for the thread to go through, and I had little trouble with stitching it and pulling the thread through the holes. So next time I'm gonna use a round one. Plus the diamond shaped hole, it makes thread on the angle a little bit, which I don't really like as well. The coin pocket is ready to go. Now it's time for cut pockets. I'm creating this pattern as I'm doing this project, so I'm double checking everything. It's probably just only my OCD, you don't need to do that. Let's quickly punch those through and start stitching. If you're lost in the project or you got any questions, drop us a comment below. We need to start stitching from the top pocket, then the middle one and the bottom. You can use stitching pony on this one, but what I like to do, I like to stitch on the edge of the table as well. It's another interesting technique. Basically this part, it doesn't have to be so strong because it's only keeping the cut going deeper. I only showed you how to stitch the top part because otherwise this video will take 4 hours. Sometimes at this point you need to do some adjustment, but fortunately everything is correct on my project. So I'm gonna start gluing it in. We're gonna glue it all together with a leather cement from Fibbings. And I use scratch hole to mark where the glue needs to go. And I'm scratching the surface as well for the better bond. It's better to apply the glue on both sides, which needs to be bound together. What I like about this glue, when it dries, it's transparent and you can remove it with sandpaper. So if it goes on the edges, we're gonna sandpaper them anyway. On this side I can use clamps, so I'm gonna clamp it while I'm gonna glue the other side. When I finish with this video, I'm gonna create another one which will be a little bit about the YouTube, how I started, what I do, and how to save money when you got small channel. I put a little bit too much glue in here, and when the squeeze out came out, I removed it with the scratch hole. You can use also cotton pads or a piece of rag. This side is a bit more tricky, I can't use clamps on it, so I'm gonna use a little bit of a pressure of edge slicker. And before I'm gonna glue last part, I'm gonna mark stitching lines on it. I forgot to do that earlier on. I have changed my website provider to Fortwall, So I've got a shop right now, and if you want to buy any of my patterns, you can buy it straight there. And even you can do it through YouTube. I would like to take this moment to say thank you to everyone who support my channel throughout the years. Everyone who sent likes or comments on the video, and especially to the people who support my channel by buying my patterns. Thank you very much. So we glue everything together. Now I'm gonna use Ed Slicker wooden one. You can see still it's not bound really well. We need to put some pressure on top of it. And after gluing it, leave it sitting down for a couple minutes. Before I start using press and punch everything out, I actually place the prongs and look for the best spot so I don't cut any edge of the pocket, because it will make it weaker, especially when you've got such a dense prongs. Exactly same thing on the side. On the other side, we're gonna add one more hole at the end so it overlaps the first pocket. I'll quickly punch those holes off camera, and let's glue in the other side as well. With this leather cement, it's slightly different than the usual glue. With the normal glue, you wait until it's dry and then stick it all together. With this one, it needs to be a little bit wet. That's why there is so many squeeze out. But like I said, we're gonna use sandpaper on the edges anyway, so we're gonna get rid of it. So we glue that pocket, and it's time to punch all the holes in both sides of the wallet. And only top edges of the wallet are finished. Internal side pocket, that's where we're gonna start stitching. When you're gonna get to the corner, we're gonna start stitching wallet all together. First, we need to have both threads on the inside. Like you can see, them prongs, diamond prongs, are a bit of a pickle, and it's hard to stitch things all together because I've got problems with getting through both layers. I need to pierce it again. I find the solution for that problem. You just need to place scrap leather underneath the project when you're punching it through, and the prongs then go deeper and pierce properly. I start with just going through one hole. Then I'm gonna pin the leather together so they align nicely and it holds nicely. But I'm gonna use stitching pony to stitch that. And I will double the thread on the first hole. You will see it in a second. So the pin is in. We can grab a needle from one side and go backwards and then forward again. This way we're gonna double the thread on the first hole, and then we can continue to the end. The stitching pony is like your third hand. With it, it goes way faster. But like you can see, I'm using the needle sometimes to pierce it through one side because I had that issue with punching prongs. But hey ho, I managed to finish the project anyway. We finished card pocket side, and we need to do the same on the other side. With this one, we're starting on top, and then when we're gonna get to the corner, we need to do the same. So we need to have thread on both sides. Then we're gonna double first one, same like we did on the other side. And then we're gonna continue to the end. But first let's use a pin and pin the leather all together. And we are on the last straight. We nearly finish with the stitching. Last thing what we need to do is finishing touches, mainly on edges, and we're done. Right, let's cut off the thread and burn it with the lighter so it doesn't go out, and then we can start making final steps. First of all, let's put a cotton rag underneath the wallet so we don't damage it. Then fit the cards in, put a little bit of a paper towel into a coin pouch, and we can start shaping things up. I use my fingers and an edge slicker. I like to go quite deep inside with the edge slicker and remove all the squeeze out of the glue. If you're happy with all the pockets, we can proceed to finishing touches on the edges. Sometimes when you've got a rough edge, you need to use a knife, but on this one I didn't have that problem, so I use 120 grit, run it all the way around besides the edge which was finished, which is the top edge. Then clean it with a brush and we can start applying Tokonol. I found minor imperfection on top of the wallet, so I sand it down again. That's why you see me using Tokonol on top of the wallet. Burnish it until you're satisfied with it. To be honest, some people, they do run it 3 times with different grit of a sandpaper and burnish it a few times. But I think 2 times is enough. I hope you enjoyed this project and you're gonna make one yourself. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.